scream bravo. Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
Hey everybody, it's Paul from Gauntlet Comix. Today is September 4th, 2019. Day number 6 of our hurricane coverage for Dorian. Excuse me, sorry. I decided today to put day 5 and day 6 together because, as we know, Dorian was just hanging out and not moving. It was ridiculous. So I'm just going to do just a brief conclusion and some final thoughts. Then we'll go into the CNN report, and that'll be it. And hopefully tomorrow we'll get back to the fun stuff, comic books. If some other hurricane comes up, I'll be doing this again. So that being said, this was a really, really nasty storm. Each storm that I'm affected by, I learned from. I learned something. This one taught me that, this one taught me that patience is a virtue. And sometimes people take the brunt so you don't have to. I don't always like that. I always don't want that to happen. I'm very grateful to the Bahamas and Abacos Island, and I'm very worried for them. But I still have hope. I'm grateful to them for taking the brunt, and I'm worried for them because they have a long road to recovery. I really wish they didn't have to go through this. It breaks my heart. I hate seeing the videos. I'm not going to show them on here. I was going to, and I made a decision not to because I just get too choked up. It just brings back fears that I've encountered when dealing with hurricanes. It brings back sadness. It brings back feelings of defeatness. And I am so grateful that they are a very rich country. But even that I hesitate on, because no matter what kind of money you have, once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. All those memories, people are killed. You could be the richest country in the world. If people are getting killed, people are getting killed. So I'm just so many mixed emotions about the Bahamas right now. I guess this was my reminder of how powerful they can get, they being the hurricanes, and how unpredictable they can be, and how stubbornly slow they can be when they want to be. Sometimes they can be real fast. I would have had a wish for the Bahamas. I wish this thing would have moved fast over like Charlie did. I have Charlie on the screen right now. Charlie is one of the storms that I first went through living down here. Been living here since 1993. And since I've lived here, I've gone through 3 major hurricanes, all 4 and above, starting with Charlie. Charlie was a fast one. It still did devastating damage to Port Charlotte. But Charlie taught us the meaning of wobble and what a little wobble can mean. It can mean the difference of 25 to 50 miles. As you're looking at this loop, you can see where she wobbles right there, right at the last second there. It's hard to pick up on, but right there. It was, Charlie was supposed to hit Fort Myers. It wobbled at the last minute. And that wobble, and the noticing of that wobble, was credited to two of our local meteorologists. Remember, I don't know if you remember my day 1, where I said always listen to your local meteorologist, because they sometimes can see things on the ground quicker than the National Hurricane Service can. It didn't give them much time, but they were able to get the warning out to people to get out of Punta Gorda, and they definitely adjusted the track. They actually issued their own warning. It was very interesting. I've never seen that happen before. Yeah, this Dorian, when she did move, she wobbled and wibbled like nothing before. So I guess all that being said, I'm praying hard for our friends in the Bahamas. Help is there. Help is on the way. We're all praying for you. Once the gates get open, you're going to get supplies. You're going to get help. Don't give up hope. I'm hoping if one of you hear this, you can have some inspiration or at least some hope that us folks over here in Florida, we're thinking about you. And there's preparations being made right now as we speak to get supplies to you through different airlines, private aircraft. Um, so just don't give up hope. If you've lost somebody, I'm sorry for your loss. I wish I could bring them back. Um, I just pray for you to have strength moving forward. So back to these hurricanes I've experienced. The next one that I went through was Hurricane Wilma in 2005. Wilma was my first hurricane, was my second hurricane, and she scared me. She scared me because she was big and powerful. I was here in the house. We had the house boarded up. She came like a vengeance and just didn't go away. Excuse me. I watched my neighbor's roof being peeled apart. When everything was said and done, if you watch this, my house is like right here. Or no, up here, yeah, right there. We sat in the eye wall for a number of hours. When all was said and done, I went down to the end of my driveway and looked down our road, and I had a reality check that sitting through a Hurricane 4 is not the wisest thing. At that time, we had our grandmother living here. I had my wife here. My parents were about 5 minutes away. I looked down the road. It's completely flooded. There's these giant trees across it. And there's no way for me to get help in and no way for me to get out to help. Very, very big wake-up call. I definitely, that's what Wilma taught me. That this is not a joking matter, and no matter how tough you think you are, no matter how prepared you think you are, you just don't know what it's about until it hits you. The next one we had was Irma.
There's a protein shake.
Oops, sorry,
that
excuse
kills
me.
gravy.
Next one was Hurricane Irma. That was a couple of years ago. Irma was just a big old, excuse my language, a big old bitch. I ended up going to Miami because we couldn't secure supplies to board up the house. So I went over and I stayed with relatives over in Miami in a very secure location. I drove across basically in these rain bands. It was very scary. I was on a Saturday. She had on a Sunday or Monday. I missed the extent of the eye, but I got all this power and all the destruction that happened in Miami and across Tamiami Trail. As you see, she comes right up by my house again. I'm beginning to wonder if I have my house in the right location. It was a massive storm. If you look at it, it takes up the whole state of Florida. Dumped a lot of rain, tore down a lot of trees. The amazing thing with Irma was when I got back here, it was about, by the way, all three of these hurricanes over a week to 2 weeks without electricity. Irma, we were actually having problems with water. But the big thing with Irma was that there wasn't really a lot of homes in my neighborhood that were torn up. Like I wish I had the recording. I'd recorded from my mom and dad what everything looked like around here, at least in my neighborhood. And, I was really feeling good. Nothing was going on. No roofs were off, minimal damage. Yeah, there were some like fences down, etc. And then a couple days later, all these houses were coming appliances and flooring and it looked like sidewall. So Irma did do damage. It just wasn't catastrophic, take the roof off damage. It was more of, I'm going to beat on you for 24 to 36 hours, and I'm going to tear little holes in your roofs because you all built the code, and I'm going to let water come into your houses. Now, Everglades City didn't fare as well. That was really hard for me to deal with because I have some friends down there. The mobile home park, less than half a mile away from me, got torn apart. I had roofs of theirs in my yard as well as the insulation that's underneath those roofs. Also, there's another mobile home park where my parents lived at one point. That got torn apart. So it didn't go without damage. But the damage to the houses like here was very very weird because you didn't see it on the outside, but all of a sudden our streets were lined with appliances that were destroyed by water indignation. I probably just said that wrong. Trees down everywhere. That one taught me that the woods that we have around us take the brunt of the storm from you quite a bit. Fortunately, I had no trees hit the house. We had trees that fell down in front of the house. So Irma was a rough one. I was very tired. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still very tired from hurricanes. I was praying that this thing would stay away. I'm hurricane fatigued at this point. And I hope none of you think that I'm weak for that. But it really takes a toll on you. It takes a mental toll, even if you're not directly affected, but it's somewhere close to you that you know people. You worry about those people. You pray for them. You want to go help, but you can't go help because you're not allowed in the neighborhoods. It's really a trying time. So please remember this series. My goal was to help new people who've never dealt with hurricanes keep their stress levels down and make the right decisions to leave when they should leave and not play around. As you've seen from the videos on TV, once you're stuck, you're stuck. Those poor folks in the Bahamas, some of them are stuck right now. They can't get help because of the floodwaters. So evacuate when you can. Prepare. Be ready for the worst. In the preparation parts, be calm, because otherwise you can get hurt. When you come back and you're cleaning up, be calm, because that's when you get hurt. People getting cut by chainsaws or touching live wire or walking through water with wires in them. So I hope to convey that. I also wanted to reach out to the people that worry about them, to give them, also with the new people, give them resources. Even with the people that are worried about them, try to give them some resources so they can stay informed. Because there comes a point of blackout where you can't communicate with anybody. Like with Irma, we lost all of our cell phone towers. It was very hard for me to communicate with people back here to find out what was going on. I imagine that's going on in the Bahamas right now as well. And then for us, people who have been through 3 or 4 hurricanes, just a reminder of what it's about and that, we're not bigger than these things. They're bigger than us. So, like I said, back on to normal stuff. We'll be keeping an eye on Charleston. We'll be keeping an eye on Georgia, Virginia, Northern Florida. Hopefully they'll fare well. Thank goodness this thing is a Hurricane 2 now and not a 5 hitting the coast. If it was a 5, there'd be problems, bigger problems than what they're having. So enough rambling from me. See you in the comic book videos I'm going to be making. Thank you for following me with this journey. It's been a long one. If another hurricane comes up, we'll do it again. Maybe not as prolonged and long, but, just little quick snapshots of what's going on with them. Thanks for being patient and sticking with me. Remember, if you're a subscriber, please like and share. If you're not a subscriber, you're into comic books and opening a business, a comic book business, seeing the process, please subscribe. I'm trying to provide some great content, going through the different stages. Everybody's been watching me knows that I've got some quirks I got to get over, like showing my face on the camera. I'll get there. But anyways, subscribe, like, and hit the notification button. Otherwise, you won't know when I'm putting out content. So for now, goodbye from Naples, Florida. And really not goodbye. See you later, probably tomorrow. Have a good night. Here's the Weather Channel with yesterday's report and today's report. Day 5 and day 6 for me. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay.
To Sunday morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, when the eye was just approaching the Abaco Islands here. That was 11 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and then the hurricane barely moved. It just hung out over the northern Bahamas for the better part of a day and a half here. Look at the Grand Bahama Island, by the way, how it got hit. How much time? Approximately 40 hours in the eye in the Bahamas here from Sunday to Tuesday. Winds went from 185 miles an hour to 120 miles per hour. And I'm going to show you Grand Bahama Island here. This is a look at the port here. The airport is here. Downtown Freeport is right here. The surge was coming in mostly from the north side here. Look at this. This is the water inundation map. Airport underwater. Downtown Freeport underwater. This neighborhood underwater, some of these homes in here underwater, portions of the port compromised because of it, and the airport completely covered. Where we stand right now is 110 mile-per-hour hurricane. Cat 2, 959 millibars is the pressure. The wind speeds have come down a little bit today. The pressure's come up a little bit. That's the latest forecast cone for us. Parallels the Florida coast. Then a potential landfall in South or North Carolina, with North Carolina being most likely because it certainly sticks out farther there. But as far as what's happening for us in Florida right now, plenty of winds and rain lashing it at this moment. We're going to get back to our crews in the field, in the Carolinas and in Florida, as we continue our coverage.
Hello, everybody. So here we are, September 4th, day 6.
It was just worse than anything I could have imagined. Hurricane Dorian with whipping winds and bringing heavy rainfall to parts of the Florida coast, and the storm now moving towards the north and west, eyeing the Carolinas in its crosshairs, not only with heavy rain, also strong winds too, and the possibility that Dorian could make landfall on the Carolina coast. We have crews spanned out from Florida to the Carolinas. I'm meteorologist Tevin Wood here in Cocoa Beach. We have Reynolds Wolf live for us in Daytona Beach, Florida as well. And here in Cocoa Beach, despite Dorian now being to 100 miles north and east of us, we're still getting very heavy rainfall, occasionally at times with some of the strongest outer bands that come through. We're not too far away from the Atlantic Ocean right now. You still see churning waves right now coming in along the shore. Most of this beach town is closed. It's almost like a ghost town as you go out because of those strong waves. And here on the beach, look at the way that wall of waves just slabs down onto the ground. But I was being told just a few moments ago, usually the water is not this close towards the beach. It's actually a little bit further back. But now we're starting to see that offshore flow of wind, so we don't necessarily have to worry about storm surge here, though there is still a storm surge warning and a tropical storm warning as well. In the Bahamas, though, we know the devastation that Dorian unfortunately brought with not one, not two, but 3 landfalls there. Much stronger winds as well. And today we're getting our first look at the devastation left behind on Great Abaco Island. Storm surge sending water miles inland, homes ripped to shreds by winds at 185 miles an hour. Dorian, the strongest hurricane on record to make landfall in the Bahamas. Grand Bahama Island in the storm's eye wall for over 36 hours. Just absolutely phenomenal meteorologically and unfortunate as well. This video from a journalist working in Freeport, you can see some of this here. Look at those strong winds and look at the people unfortunately having to walk through feet of water. This journalist and his family were forced to flee their home with pets in tow, seeking higher ground to escape the storm surge. Let's give you the latest now on Hurricane Dorian. Still a Category 2 storm, winds at 105 miles per hour, pressure now up to 964 millibars. This storm moving towards the north and northwest at approximately 8 miles an hour. And that's important in that north-northwest track, not just northwest. So now we're starting to see that turn become a bit more evident. The latest track does still have Charleston, South Carolina, portions of the Grand Strand and the Low Country too, and then the coastal Carolina, North Carolina area as well in its crosshairs, especially on the west side of this track. Keep in mind, the center could be somewhere offshore, potentially still in this track from the National Hurricane Center on land as well. So I would definitely eye the Cape Hatteras area and Wilmington too for potential landfall from Dorian. Let's give you the latest on what we know with Dorian. 11 deaths are tied to Dorian, 8 in the Bahamas and 3 in the United States. Mandatory evacuations have begun for North Carolina's barrier islands. And Dare County is offering transportation to anyone who needs a ride. And the airport in Charleston, South Carolina will close today at about 3 o'clock. And as I mentioned earlier, we have our crews spread across the south and east, not just here in Cocoa Beach, Florida, but along the coast as well in Daytona Beach, Florida. And that is where we find our Reynolds Wolf. Reynolds.